Good afternoon. Today we come here in this place and in this time to celebrate the life of our dear friend and family member, Gretchen Marie Katz. Our gathering together today is so very important for when we come face to face with the awesome mystery of existence, of life and death. We long for the spoken and silent assurances given by friends and loved ones. Today we meet in the presence of death to do homage to life, to do homage to the spirit of life, and to offer a tribute to a woman who was very much loved. Our voices may be the voices of grief, but the language we speak is love. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome and acknowledge the immediate family members here today. Gretchen's devoted husband, William Katz. Hi, Bill. Son, Daniel Katz, and daughter-in-law, Dana Katz. And son, James Katz, and daughter-in-law, Amy Katz. And Dan will introduce all the other family members who are here a little bit later. My name is Reverend Julie McKay, and I'm a Unitarian Universalist minister of High Plains Church UU here, and I welcome all of you. Today we are here to share special memories about Gretchen's life, sing a couple of songs that she absolutely loved and that she chose actually for this event, and listen to a poem that her family chose that they think describes the person Gretchen tried to be. So may we enjoy one another's company here and find meaning and comfort in our time together. I'm going to begin with Gretchen's life motto. We have not inherited the earth from our parents. We have borrowed it from our children. We have not inherited the earth from our parents. We have borrowed it from our children. She certainly lived her life having this long-range perspective about the care of our Mother Earth and its inhabitants, and she diligently worked to preserve natural areas and the environment for future generations. So I invite you now to stand and join as we open our celebration with the hymn that Gretchen chose for us just for this occasion that lifts up her love of the earth, Blue Boat Home.
Far away from rolling
Please be seated. Thank you. So now I invite James Cutts to come forward, and he's going to read a poem that the family has chosen entitled Love of the World by Charlotte Tall Mountain. And they believe that it describes the person Gretchen tried to be, especially during her politically and environmentally active decades.
Hi, I'm Jim Cutts. I'm Gretchen's son. It's great to see everyone here. Thank you for coming. I was thinking of what words I could possibly say and didn't come up with any of my own. Talked with my dad about it, and he said he sort of had the same feeling, that he compared it to trying to get a drink out of a firehouse. So I'm going to read some words that we know meant a lot to my mother. It's called Love of the World by Charlotte Tall Mountain. For the love of a tree, she went out on a limb. For the love of the sea, she rocked the boat. For the love of the earth, she dug deeper. For the love of community, she mended fences. For the love of the stars, she let her light shine. For the love of spirit, she nurtured her soul. For the love of a good time, she sowed seeds of happiness. For the love of God, she drew down the moon. For the love of nature, she made compost. For the love of a good meal, she gave thanks. For the love of family, she reconciled differences. For the love of creativity, she entertained new possibilities. For the love of her enemies, she suspended judgment. For the love of herself, she acknowledged her own worth. And the world was richer for her. And now I want to invite my son, Andrew, Cutts up. He wanted to play some music that reminds him of Grandma. She liked to listen to a lot.
The first one I'll be playing is called Petite Blues. The second one I'll be playing is Green Sleeves, and I'll also be playing Paddington's Pound together. So they're both written at the same time, and they were commonly played together, so I'm going to play them together. playing is the third of 4 northern dances.
Thank you, Andrew. I can't imagine honoring your grandmother in any better way. Let's give him another round of applause. Grandma would be so pleased. She is so pleased. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Gretchen. She was one of the finest people you could ever know. She was honest and kind and had an infectious love of learning and love of the world. She was born Gretchen Marie Schwager on September 11, 1935, to Sylvia and Armin Schwager in, help me,
Hartland, Wisconsin.
oh,
Waukesha?
Waukesha.
Waukesha.
Oh, okay. Heartland and Waukesha. Her original family emigrated to the U.S. from Germany in late 1800s. As one of 4 children, she was raised strict Lutheran during the Depression. In a time of rationing and war bonds, the family took few vacations. In high school, she worked in her parents' appliance and electrical shop. It was there she learned frugality, thrift, and the value of hard work and a love of country. She showed her love of learning by pursuing education throughout her life as both a student and a teacher. In college at the University of Illinois, she studied biology, followed by a master's in animal ecology. Gretchen's love of nature blossomed at this point as she studied the ecosystems in depth. While at the U of I in 1960, she met her future husband in ecology class. Gretchen and Bill married in 1962 and have been devoted partners ever since. Gretchen moved to Baltimore to join Bill, who was in medical school at Johns Hopkins, and she continued to teach until their first son, Dan, was born in 1965. Her sons say that she gave a lot of herself in order to raise her family and to work on preserving the earth for future generations all at the same time. After graduation from med school and internship, Bill was stationed in Carville, Louisiana at the National Hansen's Disease Hospital for his 2-year draft commitment in the U.S. Public Health Service, a temporary duty of the Coast Guard. Gretchen worked at home with Dan then, and second son, Jim, was born in 1967. After a very rough pregnancy, I'm told, Gretchen, and you can see he's 6'8", I think you told me, right? Goodness. Gretchen was on bed rest for several months, and baby Jim was born a month early. This is where she learned some of her perseverance, the family says. During these years, Gretchen was very busy with the 2 boys as Bill started his career as a physician. Gretchen pursued her passion for the natural world by starting new National Audubon Society chapters, going on field trips and bird counts, but mainly organizing and promoting. And I hear it was in their basement a lot of that happened. She was so good at that. Camping trips and day trips to Colorado mountains were an escape from what was likely a difficult day-to-day with, in Dan's words, the maniac boys. When Bill finished his residency, they moved to Greeley, Colorado, where they would live for the next 28 years. And I know there are friends from Greeley here today. Thank you for being here. Gretchen continued to be a full-time mother, bird watcher, gardener, and political activist, too. She and Bill shared their love of nature with the boys through hikes, Audubon field trips, and visits to the Rocky Mountain National Park. The couple also purchased a special cabin in Morgan, Wyoming, where they spent as much time as they could. While in Greeley, one of Gretchen's greatest life trials happened at the age of 40. She developed uterine cancer, and with surgery and radiation, fought hard to recover. And in my last conversation with her, she told me that she knew she had a family to continue to raise and that there was no dying at that point in her life. And again, this was a testament to her tremendous life force and persevering nature. In Greeley, Gretchen was involved with City of Greeley Housing Authority, City of Greeley Wildlife Committee, and was on the Weld County Red Cross Board of Directors and the Colorado Audubon Council, and she participated in several other community interest groups as well. The final segment of Gretchen's life was lived here in Colorado Springs when she and Bill moved to be closer to the grandkids in Briargate. Soon they joined High Plains Unitarian Universalist Church in 2001. And of course, course, Gretchen was very active on the landscape committee and just helping out anywhere she could. Her spirituality was defined by working to make the world a better place for those around her. And she especially tried to help future generations as an eco-activist. One of the last projects that she organized here that I'm told by several people was very meaningful to them was a discussion group on issues of aging. Bill and Gretchen's final home would be at the Inn at Garden Plaza, where my grandmother also lived her final days and years, and until last year would still spend some of the winter months snowbirding to the Voyager RV resort in southeast Tucson. Gretchen spent much time writing and chasing wildflower blooms. I hear she has about 5,000 pictures of wildflowers. And amazing, at least, Bill says. And her love of music moved her to teach Native American flute to herself. At the end, Gretchen made a lot of good friends. She loved jigsaw puzzles, her flowers, and didn't mind playing a good hand of bridge. She was very happy there. And so at this time, I'd like to invite some of Gretchen's closest family who would like to pay tribute to her with their additional reflections.
Hi everyone, thank you for coming. We're the Colorado Grandkids. I'm Maddie, Mitch, and Marley. And I'm sure we were a lot smaller last time you guys remember us. We are grateful to be here with you all, and we are so glad you guys could make it here to honor our grandma. We know she would be happy to see so many amazing people in the room together, and it was a great testament to who she was as a person, to have all you here to support and celebrate the one person she was and the legacy she left behind us. We have a few short stories about the times we have shared with our grandma, and we hope telling these stories you can relate and reflect with us on our grandma's meaningful impact on our lives. So this is my story. My grandma was a very individualistic person. One story that really sticks out to me is at the sporting events of ours that our grandma and grandpa went to while we were growing up. We always knew when grandma was in the stands when we would hear her distinct cheer that sounded a bit like this. Woo, 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 woo. Every time. It always made us laugh while playing, and I knew she was there supporting us. This story continues to mean a lot to me because it is a reminder of how my grandma was always there to love and support us while putting her own unique spin on things. This is Mitch's story. My grandma was a creative person that was always sharing her world with others. She gave me my first atlas, my first keyboard, and my first camera. She even gave me cooking supplies to go on my first camping trip with. All of which helped lead to passions that continue to be a direct contributor to who I am today. Growing up, it felt like every time we came over, she was always had something new that she was working on. Sometimes we'd find her writing, going through her photos, and other times she'd be doing something I didn't necessarily expect from my grandma at first, such as learning the Native American flute or planning a road trip. Even from an early age, our grandma had us trying new things all the time, whether it was geohunting in the backyard, creating crafts that would probably be displayed in our dad's home office, or taking outings around the state on our 10th birthdays. These were all very formative experiences for us, and they serve as a testament to how passionately and creatively my grandma lived her life. My most remembered memory with grandma, this is Marley's story. So my most remembered memory with my grandma was the time my friend Marley and I flew to Tucson, Arizona to visit Grandma and Grandpa. It was one of the best times of my life. We would visit the dog park in the community, go on hikes, explore, swim, and learn about Native American culture.
On our way to Arizona, it was the first time Marlia has ever been on an airplane, and it was my first time flying alone, so it was very exciting for us both. We had Grandpa's famous waffles most of the time for breakfast, with fruit on the side. Grandma and Grandpa taught the both of us a lot about native animals and Arizona. We saw snakes, many birds, lizards, and other amazing creatures. Every day we would go to the pool with Grandma, and she'd suntan while we swam, and sometimes we'd lay out with her too. The time came when we had to go home, and I was sad but happy to sleep in my own bed. We said goodbyes, and then Marlea and I headed back to Colorado. That time in Arizona I will never forget, and all the memories I've had and made with my grandma, and I will always remember and cherish them forever.
You say?
Our grandma meant a lot to us, and there's a lot of intangible things and pieces of advice that she gave us. And we'll carry those things with us forever. You can take turns.
Tears are exactly what this place is for. So.
For me, what I'm going to carry from my grandma is the fact that she lived her life unapologetically and fully. She was a perfect example of a strong woman who stayed true to herself while loving and caring for many people. I mean, you all knew her. She's pretty incredible. I feel truly blessed to have shared 23 years of my life with her, and fortunate to be celebrating such an amazing life with you all today. She has touched all of our lives, and I know she will continue to touch our lives and be an inspiration as all three of us grow up. Thank you.
Okay, well, thanks guys. First, I want to say thanks to Reverend Julia and the crew. The team here has been great, helping us through this, helping my dad through this, and really appreciate it. Made it, took a lot of stress off of us, so I really appreciate it. Andrew, thank you for playing the beautiful music. That's amazing. This guy's 9 years old. That's pretty darn amazing. Maddie, Mitch, Marley, you guys, that was awesome. Thank you very much. Grandma would love that. She's proud of you. Dad, thanks for all that you've done. Welcome. And keeping your sense of humor, you know, through this whole thing, kind of helped us with your, quick wit and that stuff helps me out. Most of all, thank all of you for coming. Gretchen was obviously loved by a lot of people, you know, you guys, and there's a lot of people that couldn't make it today that you know, we know loved her and were, you know, part of her life. We have people from all over the country that are here today to help support us and to be part of our grief and help us with our grief. I can't list everyone here, but I want to acknowledge the people that have traveled a really long distance to help pay tribute here. Uncle George, thanks for coming all the way from Maui into cool Colorado. Barbara, thanks for coming all the way from Pennsylvania. Appreciate it. Sean Way, my awesome cousin, came all the way from California.